Hello there. They call me Mr. E. It has always astonished me as to why some people cannot resist the urge to sell out and betray their own people in order to suck up to the powerful. Like, it's obvious, don't get me wrong. It's easier than resisting and the rewards may be lavish. But how does one justify this selfishness? Pandering to those above you does not make you one of them. They will surely dispose of you as soon as necessary. And then it completely alienates you from your own people. Trading allegiances to heel to masters makes it almost impossible for a group to unify and resist enough to fight oppression and injustices. Such a disheartening phenomenon. Something we could all be conscious of, to call out and to highlight its dangers.
My name is Mystery. For reasons unknown, I have been thrown back into the past almost 100 years, and this is my story.
I recently talked to a couple who had lived through the Japanese occupation of Singapore during World War II. While we discussed the horrors of war and the despair and extremity of living conditions under a foreign ruler, one of the things that enraged them the most and still aroused disgust to this day was their recollection of people from within their communities that had turned informants for their invaders. These informants would rat out friends and community for association with the new rulers, at the expense of their own dignity and at the cost of human life. They weren't forced into it. They did it freely. Now, Lenin, in his work, The State and Revolution, repeatedly refers to such people as opportunists. Those willing to abandon and sacrifice their own people's struggles for their own short-term gain awarded to them by the ruling classes. Those willing to grovel to the system instead of resisting it. In the case of the Singaporean occupation example, when the Japanese surrendered and abandoned Singapore, those opportunists were suddenly on their own. Pariahs, who in some cases were the first to be murdered by angry mobs seeking revenge, even before those mobs started targeting the Japanese soldiers who were left behind by the retreating forces. The point here is these opportunists who had betrayed their people were more despised than the invaders. During the Nazi occupation of Poland, which saw the Jewish population of 3 million people almost entirely obliterated, there were those on Jewish councils and in the Jewish police who knew about the mass exterminations and at the direction of Nazis assisted in herding their fellow Jews onto trains. Dr. Murak Edelman, a survivor of the Warsaw Ghetto, saw no difference in terms of dignity whether one died in battle, going down firing, or in a gas chamber. To quote him, "The only undignified death is when one attempts to survive at the expense of somebody else." What drives some of us to put ourselves before solidarity? Is it desperation, extremity, survival? All valid reasons in the face of terrible circumstances, don't get me wrong, but primarily selfish. In the cases I have explored, these were under the most extreme circumstances, during the horrors of war. But extremities show us the true test of humanity as it stands the test of time. Opportunists are never looked back with respect, though one may try to empathize with their position. In both of the examples I have used, those wreaking terror would have had greatly reduced capacity to be as destructive if it weren't for the assistance of opportunists. Divide and conquer is the greatest weapon of an oppressive force, whether it be an invader, an occupier, or a ruling class. Our greatest weapon is the opposite. It is solidarity and unity. Hopefully we can remember this when times get the most desperate. If we are to have true solidarity, we must convert opportunists, and until that we must fight for change on their behalf. We must never reject them from the cause if they have a change of heart and wish to join. Unity is more important than anything else, and it is the only thing that those who hold power truly fear. Now, if you thought this was interesting, please like it and share it. And subscribe for more. There is much to learn about the revolution. Remember, I am, you are, we are a mystery.